It always does against San Diego. I mean, they're a great defensive program. I would say, I think from year to year, team to team, they might turn you over more or just get regular stops or just get rebounds. But program-wide, as long as Cindy's been there, she does a really good job coaching the defense. And, they've got great athletes on their team, and they body it. Their motto is clearly to be physical, and I think that's with us and everybody else. And, I thought that there were some things that could have gone our way that didn't. There were certainly some stretches where our team, we were right there on the bubble, coach and players, of losing some composure. Luckily, there was a couple timeouts that was able to settle us down, and we fought through that because it was not easy. The stuff around the basket, we shoot the ball a lot better than we shot it from 3 and from 2 today. Generally, our numbers are a lot higher than that, and they make you work because they guard. And then they, on the offensive end, they just lower their shoulder and drive in there and make the refs make some sort of call. And usually it goes in their favor because of how athletic they are. And so it's a tough game to play against them. But I thought our team, we limited our turnovers, which was a huge key for us, and we won the glass, which was another huge key, especially in the second half. We needed some offensive rebounds to not let them get off in transition. And we needed some second chance points, and a couple of those baskets did come off of an offensive rebound. Maybe not necessarily a direct kick out, although 1 or 2 of them I think might have, but just getting ourselves more opportunities. So I'm really proud of our efforts in those 2 areas. But San Diego plays really hard, and they're never easy to play. It doesn't matter where you play them.
The stretch you must be referring to, you're up 9, and I think Eliza got stopped at the pick twice. No call. Brenna got stopped. No call. Brenna missed another one that was in traffic and no call, and then they wound up.
Yeah, and I don't know that they're all fouls. You know what I mean? Like I get that the ref's job is hard, and there's just contact consistently. And certain nights that's a foul every time, and certain nights it's never a foul. And so we had to. It was definitely, all of those plays were kind of ones where we were a little out of position for a rebound. We were a little bit out of position for transition defense, and I don't know if they missed maybe one of them. But it was a little bit precarious there for a second, and I know I got Esther and Bonnie here right now. Those guys did a really good job defensively. I think there were a couple possessions, the one on the baseline that Esther blocked, she was making up for our team being kind of caught out of position. And
ball on the
yeah,
down
yep,
forward. That's
yep.
why I put the job to.
Yeah.
Bench only scored 5 points, but that's such a misleading stat because they got double-digit boards, I think, and did a lot of other things.
Yeah, I mean, we had 4, 2, 6, 6 rebound-wise, 0 or 1 turnover amongst them. So it was a pretty good night all around. They didn't score a lot of baskets. I mean, DB didn't even score or didn't even shoot it. So I think that not a lot of scoring from them, but big-time effort from them in other ways.
Kaylin was kind of having a rough night shooting the ball, and then in the fourth quarter, still no hesitation from her. What does that say about her mindset and her belief that, no matter how the game's going, she's going to knock the next one down?
Yeah, she does a pretty good job with the next play attitude. We've got some players, and again, sometimes their coach who struggles with that next play. I try to, but I get frustrated, flustered, both sometimes. And Linny doesn't very often, and if she does, and you say, Lynn, take a second, and then she usually kind of resets pretty well. But that's the kind of even keel that you want in a person who's running the team out there on the floor. And she doesn't. I mean, it says that she's got the right attitude, that she's going to make the next one. I think that Brenna was shooting it just okay, and then she knocked one down, and it was like, you'll get the next one, but shoot the ones that are open. So I think from time to time they need that reminder. But Linny is just about as steady as a player as there is. Doesn't get too high. Sometimes she gets too high. She did make a 3, and I was yelling at the bench to tell her to get back. But not too high usually, and certainly not too low on those either.
In a game like this, San Diego, and you can take the preseason rankings with a grain of salt, but a team that's not expected to be at the top of the league, but it's still such a tough battle. In your time, just how far have you seen this league come to where it seems like every opponent is going to give you, a tough battle?
Yeah, well, I think the league is improving all the time. I just think that ever since I've been here, though, Gonzaga is going to get a tough battle from everybody. We've seen it every year, so 18 of them, that it's just how it is. They all want to beat us. We play in a great environment. We have great fans. We have good players. They all know how we travel. You know, it's everybody wants to knock us off, and I think it's disappointing for them when they don't. And so, you know, I'm glad that we're part of a program where you have to be ready every time, because I think it'd be frustrating to every game be like, well, you know, they're not that great. But we just know that everybody who plays us will be ready to play us. And San Diego, you know, I don't know where they got picked, but they're always going to be in the top third because of how hard they play and how they guard. So like Jim started out with back to the scoring situation. Yesterday was a ton of zone, or Saturday was zone both teams, and they played well against that. But they try to stop you from scoring points. And if you can get points on the board, then usually you're in pretty good shape.
Coach, on Saturday we saw Callie have the big and one late. Tonight she had the two big offensive boards in that stretch in the fourth quarter. She's down on the floor for loose balls, you know, maybe not her best shooting night, but definitely, you know, her presence was felt. Just what can you say about her kind of all-around game and how, as a guard, she's able to come down and crash the boards better than some of these big players on other teams?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how long all of you guys have been around, but Jim and I have been around long enough to remember when Jill Townsend was a freshman, and she just brought energy, and she would take a charge, or she would make get a basket or get an offensive rebound, and it reminds me a lot of Callie, just with how hard she plays. Don't tell her that she's undersized, because she doesn't know any better, right? She's very strong. She uses her strengths well, and last season, she was redshirting, and she would still beat everybody in, maybe not always Vonnie, but in down and backs or in transition. That's the only way she knows how to play, is as hard as she possibly can. So when we put her in, it was, Cal, we need rebounds, and she got one right off the bat, and that's what we need from her at this time. She doesn't have the same kind of role where we're necessarily calling all the plays for her at this time, but she can sure impact our team with how hard she plays and how she rebounds and hustles around, takes those charges, and that kind of thing.
And then also in the fourth quarter with Michaela on both sides of the ball, she had the two big buckets, and then she was able to defend well. A couple calls, you could see her frustration. What was it like seeing her able to just bounce back from that and have a strong finish this game?
Yeah, I thought she did a good job of resettling. She's feisty. I think of myself when I see KK sometimes, and she's feisty, and she lets you know it sometimes. And she's sick right now. She's really she's been battling and not feeling well at all. So she's kind of given us what she's got. But I actually will probably text her and say that I'm proud of you for settling in, because I was kind of talking to the bench, but I did see she was frustrated, and we just have to move on. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of the thing that we have to talk about, and we got to get better at. We haven't talked a ton about it as a group, but they're going to go your way sometimes, and they're not sometimes, and we have to move on to the next one, because as soon as you're worrying about the last thing, you make a mistake. If she was still worrying about something, she doesn't get that breakaway layup, and she doesn't battle for the rebound that she got. So I think she did a nice job of, again, it's kind of like we talked about with Lenny, but having the next play attitude, because we did need her at that time. She's a very valuable defender. She's a valuable, scrappy rebounder when she's dialed in, and we needed all of them today.
Quick thoughts on Montana and maybe Carmen G. Feller as well?
Yeah, I mean, Carmen is a beast. She played very well against us last year. I know she's been out for a little bit of this season, but I think that their team is certainly better when she's on the floor. She's smart. She's multi-dimensional. She's so strong. I have not watched any of their games yet because of the stretch. It's just game. But we'll watch it tonight. And I know that they're playing a lot better with her on the floor than they are when she's out. She's someone that would have been nice to have in a Zag uniform, maybe. Who knows, right? But she plays like our players. She's tough, strong, again, versatile, and she's got good players around her. So if you let her get to her strengths, just like everybody else, she's pretty tough to stop.
Real quick, can you offer any updates on the three players who are out right now?
Bree still making normal progress. ACL is normally 9 to 12, so she's still on her regular protocol.
9 months now.
Yep. Kaylee is still non-weight bearing, so that's she's on those crutches. So you got to go from non-weight bearing into weight bearing before you can progress. So there's not a direct, decisive timeline. And Mout just had a little bit of a setback as far as like concussion protocol. So we were actually hoping that we were going to have her for today, and obviously that didn't happen. We'll have to see if she's allowed to practice tomorrow or not. That's one that's That one is a day-to-day kind of
She's
until
not
you.
allowed to she hasn't been able to practice.
She practiced yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
so
did.
we thought we were about there, and then there was a little bit of a setback. So we have to go back now a couple steps and then work our way back in. So I don't know that she's. I wouldn't say she's probable. I don't think she's counted out for Wednesday, but I wouldn't call her probable. If you use those kind of words, I don't know, whatever kind of smart words you use, Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, I think since people have gone down sick, the people that have been able to play have just tried to stay consistent and fill in the roles that we're obviously missing. From game to game it changes, but we're just trying to bring energy off the bench and just do what our team needs, really.
Bonnie, I noticed there was a moment where I think Callie picked up a foul, and you were kind of coaching her up under the basket there. Just kind of how much do you embrace that kind of on-court leadership role, and how much do you take pride in that?
Yeah, well, I always want my teammates to succeed, and when I get a chance to help them and stuff like that, I obviously won't take that up. And even though it's really like stress game situation, like we still need moments where we have to learn and adjust in the game. So I feel like in that moment and other moments with other players that I have, like I'm really just trying to get them like back on the right track. So in the game, like we can all work more freely and they can still grow even within these game situations, not just practice.
What were some of the messages from the coaching staff when it was a tight game, they were up by one, and some of those timeouts?
Composure, a lot of composure, and then effort in defense, effort in the boards and stuff like that. Just making sure that we're not like slacking back or just like caving into the aggressiveness that San Diego gave us, but still going at it and giving all our all.
You like a game like this? Very physical. I mean, it was rough in there.
Yeah, I like this game. I thought it was exciting.
fun.
Yeah, I like the physicality, and then I like the crowd getting into it. It was fun.
Did the crowd help today?
Oh yeah, I thought it helped. It helped.
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
Yeah.
Apologize, I can't remember if either of you were on the court at the time, but when your second three and then turned to the bench to celebrate,
Yeah.
you guys, Lisa said that she had to tell the bench to, get her back down the floor. Are you guys gonna talk about that at all? Because she thought she might have been Steph Curry there for a second.
Yeah, you good.
Honestly, I feel like she thinks that sometimes. Don't tell her I said that though. But yeah, I feel like that's just like reciprocating energy. Like Lindy's giving energy to the bench is giving energy back. Like we're just really trying to like make sure that we're not losing that effect with each other on our team. So I feel like that's just what it is, like a transfer of energy.